Hey, what's up, guys? So, Affinity Designer version 2 was released last week, and I didn't decide to upgrade right away. I was just looking for the features, looking at different videos, and then I decided to upgrade it today. And in this video, I'm going to share with you those features that helped me, make this decision, or you can say the features that actually convinced me to upgrade. So I'm just going to demonstrate those features. The first one is the obvious one, that is the vector warp tool. I think that was the most requested feature for Affinity Designer. So I'm going to demonstrate it here on the text here. So this is just live text. You can see I can edit it, I can change the font and everything. And the way you assess this warp feature is in the layers panel. Towards the bottom you have this additional icon that is called the warp group. So if you click it, you get to see different features. And let's just work with this perspective here, because that works best for the text based objects. And you can just change it like that, change the feature. Now this is the feature that I was really looking for, because I usually do t-shirt design, and this is very helpful when it comes to the t-shirt design. And by the way, if you want to readjust it, you can change it at the top left here. You can change it like that, and you can use other, I think these I think it's called the other different variations or whatever you want to call it. So let's just keep it at perspective. And the other thing best is that you can give different shapes to your text. For example, this kind of like a flowy text if I want, so I can keep it like that. Now this is kind of like a freehand style warp, and I really like it because I can just adjust the this slope of the letters as well. For example, if I want it to be kind of like slanted like that, I can keep it like that or something like that. And I mostly would like to keep them straight while still in the warp, using this warp feature like that. Now as this is a most requested feature, and there are they have implemented, but just to be honest, I would say that this is really not a perfect feature at the moment. There are some things that don't work quite well. For example, I have applied this warp here. Now if I just drag it down here and everything, I can zoom in and everything, it works fine because I have already selected the font. Now if somehow I would like to change the font, if I just want to change the font and change it to something else, let's say I change it to, let's just use something else like that. So just look at that. Let's just use this one. So by looking at this, you can see that it is not perfect. It is giving some weird edges here. For example, downwards here like that, you have some weird edges here. And if I try to adjust the features, you can say the handles here, you can see that you get this kind of like a distortion. Now I would like to mention here that this is just a screen distortion. This is just for the view, and if you just zoom in and zoom out, it will fix that. But sometimes some areas are not fixed. So for example, here down here in the S, it is not fixed. So if I just change it to here, again you can see that it looks distorted. But if I just zoom in and try to see it again, it looks fine. But still you get some kind of artifacts here. So it means that this feature is not really perfect at this moment. So what I would recommend here at this point, if you want to upgrade, is that whenever you want to apply this warping on your text, just apply it on the font that you have finalized for your design. If you are going to apply it on a font and then later on try to just decide to change the font, it might get weird. Design might not look good, and you get these kind of like weird artifacts or distortions in your design. So I have checked it, and I think it works best when you have already selected, or you can say finalized the font. So yeah, that was one of the feature, that is the warp text. The other feature that they have advertised a lot is a shape builder tool. And shape builder tool, I don't use that much, but I sometimes it's really helpful. For example, here is the shape, for example, kind of like a circle and these stripes, and I might want to use it, just bring these lines inside that circle. I want to cut it inside the circle. No, it is pretty easy there are some other still some option. For example, at the top you have these variable options. I think it's called boolean variables or boolean actions, and you can use these, and you can apply, just use that. But there are some other things that you can do as well. For example, you can select all these lines and make it a child of that ellipse, and it will just show up in the circle. But sometimes, let's say if we want to keep it this left side, and we would like to delete these or remove these extra areas on the right side, so I'm going to select all of these. Actually, in the shape builder tool, you have to select the shape builder tool and then select all of the objects that you want. And at the top left, you get these options whether you want to add these shapes together, or you want to subtract, and you want to create a new shape from the selected area, and that can be helpful. I might do a video on that later on, but this is how it works. So if you are familiar to Illustrator, you might be familiar with the shortcuts like Alt key or Shift key or Control key. This same thing does not work. It just works the same whether you press Alt or everything. It works the same. The first thing that you need to do is you select the areas where you want to remove or add whatever you want, and I can select that. I can just click on it again and deselect it. So for example, I want to select these remove these areas. So first I have selected these, and then at the top left I can decide whether I want to delete it or add it. So if you just click here, you can see that it has now deleted those areas, and I get this perfect kind of shape. So yeah, there are certain uses for this shape builder tool as well, and to be honest, I don't use it that much, so I'm not really going to demonstrate much of it. And the other thing that I really like is that, for example, I have this shape and I want to apply different kind of outlines or any other effects on it. So previously we used to have this FX panel, and in which would just apply an outline. For example, if I want to apply an outline here, I can increase the size, and I can change the color from solid to gradient, and I can just maybe, let's say, choose slightly different color here, and let's maybe use this one to be something like that. And then the other best thing is that now we can add multiple copies of the same effect. For example, I have applied one outline, so in case of version 1 of the software, I would have to group it and then apply the same layer effect again on that group, but we don't have to do it again this time. So it saves time and it keeps your layers panel clean as well. We can simply duplicate that, and we can change the features of that duplicate. Let's just apply a solid color here, and I can decrease it something like that, and maybe change its color to something else. So you see, I have applied 2 of the effects here, just an outline and the effect. Same is the case with other. For example, you want to apply the gradient overlay, shadows and other things, you can do that as well. So let's just close it. So now that the shape layer effect is applied, the other thing, best thing is that if I create a new shape, and if I want to apply the same effect on this one, I can simply just drag and copy it on the other side, on the other shape as well. For example, this one. So currently you can notice that the effect that I have applied was the outlines, 2 outlines. The same 2 outlines were applied on this one, so I can change its color to anything and the same outline will be applied. Now if I just maybe create a different shape, let's say this star shape here, and I want to apply the same kind of effect here, I can simply drag that FX icon on that, and I can apply that. Now let's say if I want to apply the same gradient as well on these other shapes, what couldn't I do? So let me just remove everything here. Now let's say I want to apply the same effect including the gradient fill color on these new shapes or the other shapes. So they have this tool that is called the style picker tool. It is inside this color picker option here. So I get the style picker tool. So after selecting that tool, you need to select the shape which you want to copy and apply it on the other shape. So I'm going to click here, and then it will load it. So at the top you will have these option appear, unload and everything, and there are some tick marks that you can select which of the effects you would like to select. And then if you click on the new shape, it will simply apply those effects including the fill colors and everything on the new shapes as well. And let's say if you change it, let's say if I change this gradient color like that, and if I want to select this one, I can go again, choose the color picker. First I need to unload the previous settings that I have, so I'm going to click unload, then click on this one, and then I can simply click on the new one and it will apply it on the new shape. So that is pretty handy features when we want to apply the multiple effects on different shapes, and we do not have to reapply those again and again, so it is going to save some time. The next feature that convinced me was the knife tool. So if I just put the text here and I can just scale it up, so the knife tool is pretty handy if you are creating different kind of break kind of designs, and this can be helpful in creating some other designs as well. But yeah, it is just kind of like a limited feature, but it gives you some kind of like unique things and unique you can get some kind of unique style for your text-based design if you just want it. So for example, like that I can make it kind of like a grunge style thing. So yeah, it is I think this is the only thing that I would probably use it for. So yeah, this is the feature that is quite helpful if you are creating t-shirt design. The next thing that helped me decide was just it's a non-subscription based software. It is just a one time payment, and you can own it and you can keep on using it. And the other thing is that you can still use Affinity Designer version 1 along with it as well. So both of these softwares can run on the same machine. So sometimes you might get some kind of glitches or something. If it does not work in version 2, you can just open that document up in the version 1 as well, and yeah, that works fine. And the other thing is that you are going to get free updates until version 3. So that is something that is, I think, pretty helpful. You get to get free updates up till version 3. And the other thing is that they have completely stopped all the, I think, any kind of updates or anything related to version 1. So if you get your Windows update or something does not work well in the version 1, so you are not going to get it fixed by the Affinity, then you have to use the version 2. So that was the reason I have decided to upgrade to version 2. Now there are some things that I was really hoping for that they would include this in this version, and that is especially related to the pattern design. So still we do not have any kind of pattern swatches, especially vector pattern swatches, 100% vector swatches as we have it in Affinity, actually Adobe Illustrator. So we do not have it yet in Affinity software, and I think really it would be really helpful if they include it in any of the future update before version 3. And there are no vector brushes as well, so yeah, pattern brushes as well, so that would be pretty helpful if they include it in any kind of minor future updates. So guys, these are the main reasons for me to upgrade this software to version 2, and hopefully this will help you decide whether you should upgrade it to version 2 or not. And if you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments below, and I'll try my best to answer those questions. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video, and thank you for watching.